Prunk.
And I'm Noah.
And today we have a green-purple list versus a green-yellow reckless list. We kind of have a battle of I'd say like B tier deck versus a rogue tier, or not even rogue tier. It's kind of more of a unique thing. Noah, you are a really, really talented green-purple player. I taught you everything you needed to know. Where do you feel like green-purple is in today's meta?
Actually, I wouldn't say it's probably up in the top three, outside of red, blue, and amber steel. I think there's like a lot of ways you can build green purple. They have the tempo version and the discard, and depending on what's in the room, I think that green purple sits in a pretty good spot as long as there's no blue purple. Sits in a really good spot against both of those decks.
And me as a blurple player myself, I personally love seeing green purple. I feel like I get to do pretty much what you do, but just get to bigger characters. Unless you are going full aggro, then that's typically the only time I worry. Unless I see like my foxes and Elsas pretty quickly. I feel like that like this. I feel like green purple is in like probably a solid B tier. I think calling it B tier is completely fair, but you might be a little biased on that. What do you think?
I mean, I might be, but I've seen from my own personal testing, watching a lot of other pros and just other events, it seems like again, I think it's in its best position it's been probably since set three. And so with the addition of like levers and some of the other ways that you can build in diversity, I think that yeah, it just sits in a good spot. I think it rewards solid gameplay. And at the same time, though, I also think it's just a wonderful combination. So can do a lot of things.
And I agree with that. I think it has a pretty fair match against almost everything. And you're right. I think Blurple definitely just kind of does it a little bit better because like they're both mid-rangey in most cases, but Blurple scales mid-range to like high control, whereas Green Purple is aggro slash mid-range. Is that fair, I would say, in most cases?
Yeah, I would say that it is the most. I think it's like as mid-rangey as you can get. Almost toolboxy in a way. But yeah, it's the fairest deck in the room, fairest in the land, as they would say.
I agree with that. It's definitely a great toolbox kit. What about our green yellow? Now, green yellow has not been represented much outside of just a standard Chernodog list. We've kind of got to see the list, but before we go into that, let's talk about the players.
Yeah, so this is Chris. Like it says on the screen, he's entering his first store champion store champ season. He's a purple steel player. That's kind of what I've known him as. But this set, he was really excited by the levers, and so honestly, I showed him the list that I was on. I was, showing him how like we can, do the discard Diablo, put levers in the discard, and then we have Diablo on board, and just kind of gain a lot of advantage through levers. And he thought that was really cool, and so we talked a lot about just how to make that work, but also just like making it his own. So I did offer him the list to start, and then from there he just kind of took it and changed it to modify it to make it what he likes, which is totally cool. I think as well. I watched a couple of his games before, and we just talked about some simple improvements that just little decisions that he can make to just be more efficient, but also make you know better questing decisions, better attacking decisions. Right. Overall, loves to learn, loves to grow. So looking forward to see where he goes.
Yeah, and we got a little bit about him too.
My name is Chris Warfield. So this is actually about a year for me playing Orcana, probably close to the week.
What is your favorite color combination?
I've always enjoyed purple steel, but right now I'm playing green purple, which is a new thing for me. I'm enjoying it. I feel like I'm starting to try to learn the meta more. Definitely not a competitive player, but trying to learn and grow some skills there. My goal for right now is actually this set. I've never played in a set champ, so I want this to be my first set trying that out. So set champs is coming up for me. My least favorite thing about the game, Curse Merfolk.
Am I a joke to you?
Yeah, literally nobody's gonna know that reference. All right, Noah, you are the green purple master. You are the best green purple player I know. What do you think of this list?
Too kind, too kind. First glance, we see that it is just a Diablo tempo list, right? We don't see any discard. Strictly just trying to outvalue through card advantage and evasive characters. I personally am really a big fan of the 4-3 lever count. I think that is the right ratio because you always want to see pull the lever and you always want to see wrong lever if you can, especially with the Diablo discard.
For those who
Mhm.
don't know, because it's kind of a more of a niche and newer card, return a chosen character to their player's hand. It is a bounce card normally that is inkable. However, if you have pull the lever in your discard pile, you can put a card into the bottom of the deck. And you've kind of mentioned before, this is a nice clean out to like Maui Shark.
Yes, it's very clean, and it's what green purple was lacking last set to kind of give it agency in a pretty hard matchup. And now that we have the advantage of Diablo, we can discard it on turn one, or sorry, shift it on turn two to get it in the discard right away, and then just start pumping that card advantage early while also having a removal tool to whatever they might play.
Now, what do you do in these kind of in this deck list if you don't have the Diablo shift line? Because to me, it seems like it's very Diablo or bust almost. I mean, you have a straight tempo line, but outside of that, it doesn't seem like you got much draw.
Yeah, that's the another thing I was looking at here. I see that Chris is only on the three genies. I personally would like to have that at least at four. And I think that again, between friends and levers, you do draw a ton of cards. And seeing the Diablo later, honestly, shifting it out just to get that lever in the discard can be huge. So if you do miss it, honestly, you're looking to go obviously the one drop two, basically looking to go one, two, three, four if you can, and then just looking to outvalue with Iago and Elsa. And then if you get the big Ursula down, it can be a really big tempo swing.
Now, how do you feel like this goes on curve against something like Steel Song that is so dominant in the meta?
Oftentimes against Steel Song, if it's just a traditional, then oftentimes you don't even really want to play something on turn one, just because we know they're going to storm it, right? So skipping that to play Ursula has always been kind of the key line, even against the aggro matchup. And against aggro, really, I really don't want to see Diablo. I probably want to keep at least a Fox and a Crab, just to help deal with it. And you kind of feels like sometimes you have to get a little bit lucky, and they start turning things sideways, and then you go Ursula Crab, and next thing you know, you're trading up and hopefully bouncing the crab back and forth with Elsa's to stall at the board long enough for you to gain advantage.
All right, so that is the green purple list. We'll stop tooting its horn a little bit, and I'm really excited to kind of show this one off because it is such a more unique list. We got green, yellow, reckless. So
Mm.
on paper, this looks like a gimmick deck, right? There's no way this is competitively viable.
Yeah, looking at it off the top of my brain, yes, but at the same time, you got one of my favorite characters in all of Lorcana, saved myself and my butt multiple times in multiple set championships. Mr. Lyle Tiberius Rourke with those giant biceps. That's the man right there. So if he's in the deck, I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, now Lyle is definitely more of an interesting character. I think building a deck really around him is pretty sweet. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. Whenever one of your other characters is banished, each opponent loses one lore. So he is, in my opinion, one of the best cards early in a set because so many people are on aggro lists. But further into the set champs, it's I don't know how good he really becomes. Like we don't have too much aggro in the meta right now.
Outside of Amber Steel, I don't think there is a ton. There is some obviously some jank out there, but obviously they got that yellow blue running around as well. Someone's always going to pull up with that. Maybe I haven't really seen a ton of QE birds, but against Amber Steel, I can definitely see Lyle putting in a ton of work. So
Yeah, I mean, like Amber Steel, as long as they're on an aggro list, I feel like it's really good because otherwise they're singing to try and just ping him off. But one thing I really like Luis here. I'm not crazy about Sir Hiss, but he doesn't have an early Diablo out right now, so like having it into the deck is kind of needed, I think. Unless he just
what
plays his own Diablo line, but
Yeah, I would agree. Sir Hisson too. You don't have access to Peter Pan like Purple does, so you're kind of hoping that you can run it into a Lewis or a Sir Hiss out, and they just you miss the song or whatever they might have out to kind of take him out. I do really like though bringing back the Queen shift line. I'm a huge proponent of the Queen. That's one of my favorite cards to play with. And just the ability to up value to then play World's Greatest Criminal Mind with the strength value to banish a character that might not otherwise be is such a really it's a cheeky line, but it's a good one.
a lot of new players are always shocked when I buff their characters and then play Criminal Mind on them. I love that deal. I love playing the Queen. I think the Queen is one of the best characters you can possibly shift. Like people are really hype on Rhino. At the same time, like sometimes I just feel like I like Queen better. She's like even if you're on a Steel Song, you can sing the whole New World. But even if you're not, just I almost rather have this versus Rhino in a lot of cases, just because well like the buff allows so much more flexibility and allows your smaller characters like Little John here, like small Clarabelle, Like even Sir Hiss able to trade into a genie. That's pretty impactful.
Yeah, I like how James also paired this up with the Big Tramp, the 2/8 that lets you draw a card whenever something is banished on your whenever one of your characters is banished, you may draw a card. I think that's a really solid card to pair with a Reckless list to give you another draw engine, especially the shift line onto Little Tramp, because once you play the 2-drop Tramp, it kind of just sits there. So giving it a little bit of a bigger body to hopefully get you a little bit of card draw into Clarabelle or into Rapunzel is nice.
Now, a lot of people are going to see the tramp and say, like, well, why aren't you playing the ladies? Keep in mind, this is not an aggro list. This is actually a control list, which control historically does beat out mid range pretty well. And the Luis, for people who don't know, it comes in exerted and it gives somebody reckless. And then the new card that people are kind of hyped on, or well, that James was definitely hyped on, was Ka that kind of makes this work. Whenever this character quests, chosen opposing character gets -2 attack and gains reckless until the start of the next turn. Uh, when I played James with his list, this screwed me quite a bit. Not being able to trade effectively with foxes, just terrifying. I don't know. I don't have a better way to put it. Like this card has been kind of a nightmare dealing with it. It is a really underrated card, I think, for this color combination. I think you could splice this into Turner Dogs pretty well. What's your thoughts on Ka?
I played Ka really. I think I played 4 of them. I did a sealed event, and I was actually thoroughly impressed. And I had really got excited about playing them until I
Ooh.
realized I don't own Rapunzel. So then I was like, I can't play yellow. Um, but I do think it's a really solid card, and especially the -2 is huge, especially when you like you're saying with trade value. Another card that I was just thinking about as popped into my brain as we were talking is um, the John Silver 6-drop in green. I think would also be a great
Ooh.
addition to add Reckless and Quest. It kind of does what COD does. Inkable 5/5 comes out a little bit later, but the ability to on play give something Reckless, just like Lyle does, is could be pretty huge for this deck. So I'm wondering if James had thought about or considered that card in here.
I personally, John Silver was my MVP set one. All I could get was a starter deck, and I was on a red green starter deck basically for the entire set one. I built that deck as good as I possibly could. John Silvers were 20 bucks. They're down to $1 now, and I managed to get 3 of them in my deck, and he put in work. I loved this
Mm,
card.
yeah.
So when you play this character and whenever he quests, chosen opposing character gains reckless. He's just a big body. Yeah, I think that card would actually be fit very, very well into this. It's hard to kind of say where you would make room, possibly by cutting this Ursula. I'm not a fan of the 4-drop here.
Yeah, going down to, I mean, even 8 on Inkables is honestly would be awesome. I do understand the value though of just having bare necessities on the body, but you're not getting the shift line out often enough. I think, not sure, but the bare necessities is kind of nice. Being able to pull out, basically any card except a character from an opponent's hand could sometimes be game saving. But I can see that.
At the same time, with this kind of list, I just feel like I'd rather play bare necessities. Inkable version of her. I understand like, okay, well, Ursula's not doing anything in the field. Let me dump World's Greatest Criminal Minds. But like, going neg just to basically get an opponent's like bare necessities. Like I think you don't shift this very like you're very rarely going to shift that. You are most likely just going to play it on turn 4, but at the same time, you got Rapunzels, you got Kaz, you have plenty of things to heal. You got plenty of things I'm sure at that point where you're going to want to make reckless. I think she's the instant cut. I don't think she belongs here, and I think you're right. Maybe throwing in like a little bit more endgame with John Silver might actually be a better answer for this list. Now, James I see myself a lot in James because he has a new deck almost every week, and I'm definitely like at heart, I love just building decks, and I love building janky stuff so much. So James and I feel like are kindred souls. With that said, favorite ink colors, purple and ruby amethyst. I do rank him as a 3-star player. He has a couple top 8s under his belt, but no major wins or no major top 4s or anything. So like he's definitely a I feel bad putting him at 3 stars because I know he has potential for higher. He can easily be a 4-star player, but I don't think he goes to enough set champs or plays competitive enough. He's definitely a more casual player, but the skill is there. I think that if he actually wanted to, he could easily get to a 4-star, maybe even a 5-star player.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think James, like you're saying, he definitely has some previous gaming experience. I think he's just really, he's got a lot of, he's definitely skilled, but I think he just enjoys the community and just loves to come out to things when he can. And yeah, I personally have lost him before, and I've learned a lot from him and just having good conversations about different cards and things that I might not consider. So awesome guy.
Great person to just throw bounce ideas with, especially if you're just building. I want to build a random jank deck this week. James has probably built that deck.
Hey everybody, I'm James. I've been playing Lorcana since the start, set one, so going on, what is it, 2.5 years now? I have my first set champs, I got 9th place, didn't quite make it, but the next 2 set champs, I got 7th and 8th respectively. I am a pretty casual player. I like to play a lot of fun decks, I like to play a lot of different colors. And I previously played Magic. I've been playing Magic for 20 years. Switched over to Lorcana just because it was impossible to keep track of the Magic set releases, and I've been enjoying Lorcana ever since. Favorite color combination is probably Ruby Amethyst. I just like the card draw of Amethyst and the hard removal that is in Ruby. But I play just about every color all the time, and I'm always probably playing some jank. I previously made top 8 with 2 decks that were relatively good decks. I would love to make a top 8 with my own true 60 card homebrew, and that's something that I'm working on for setting set champs. So that's my goal.
All right. So we have the players kind of shuffling up. They're going to be showing us their hands, going over the mulligan. So Chris right here, Clarabelle, Ursula, looks like a couple of the Johns, Rapunzels. Oh, I'm sorry, that was James. And then we have Chris here with the purple steel, or green purple. And let's just backpedal that a little bit. I didn't get a good look at his hand.
Yeah, I also wonder, did we know who was going first?
I actually don't think they rolled for this yet.
Okay.
So looking at this though, we have Cove, we have Ursula, we have a Peter Pan, a Genie, a Tamagotchi. I can't tell. I think another Peter Pan, and
Look at Peter Pan and a crab, it looks like.
okay. So pretty good. What are you putting back here? Pretty much everything but the Cove, I would assume. Maybe the Peter Pan
So
keep.
I'm a big fan of the Peter Pan on 3 just because it's a great singer. But just seeing how he doesn't really have anything that he wants, I'd probably hold on to the Cove. And then, honestly, I also haven't minded just keeping the Go-Go on 2 and a crab if he's going second. If he's going second, keep the crab, keep the Go-Go, and I would keep the Cove as well. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, and then James, it looks like is going to be mulliganing 3, drawing into a hyena, a lion, or a Louis. Dang. Some of these characters, it's gonna take me a minute to like know these characters. And like I don't see them that often.
So
And yeah,
looks like
wait. So he's getting rid of the Cove. I think he's hard mulliganing for the Diablo line. I fall into that mistake with Green Steel, where I hard mulligan into the Diablo line. Do you feel like it's a trap for Green Purple too?
Yeah, I think especially going in blind and you don't know what you're playing. I think that again, just having that, I probably sending the code back, yes, but you definitely want to have a 1, 2, 3 if you can, just to gain the board presence, because that's what purple's best at, right? Is controlling the board, gaining card advantage. So not actually opposed to getting rid of everything. I'm just curious what he kept. I'm guessing the crab.
Yeah, I think just keeping the crab is correct if you're going second, like you said. But I think I would have held on to the Cove just in case. Like I don't like putting back my 1 drops. You have so many of them, but it does look like he's not punished. It looks like he does have a Diablo in hand a little bit.
It looks like he's going second.
All right, so. And by the way, we are supposed in official ruling, you are supposed to roll the dice before you mulligan. So
It's a little unfortunate. I did see that Chris did miss his. Doesn't look like he's got pulled the levers, which is kind of what you're hoping for in the Diablo. But he does have he does have the Diablo into shift if he wants it. No actions though, so he's gonna have to hold off on that.
yeah, I mean it's not a bad grip. He has a curve, so at least he has Diablo into Ursula into Peter Pan. It looks like. So inking the Elsa probably smart for now, and then just playing the bird and
Hmm.
inking the Clarabelle, which makes sense if he knows what he's doing. But he is going to get some hand knowledge here. Unfortunately, a little bit of a whiff, but he does see the
Oh, he does
lever.
have levers.
Yep.
Nice. And that's why I like levers, is because it's an action, so you cannot discard it off the Ursula, which makes it so huge for green purple.
The shining, blinding white cards on the table.
Love it.
Yeah, we gotta get some lighting. That's why people should like and subscribe, so we can use the money and monetization to
There we
improve our
go.
equipment.
Do it right now. Do it right now. Like and subscribe.
And so, yeah, seeing the Ursula, not hitting a song, but you do have full hand knowledge at this point too, which is as valuable. Like, I mean, obviously you want to rip something if you can, but I stress hand knowledge is king in these games. Just knowing exactly what's coming out, so that way you know what's safe, to when it's safe to quest. He knows he has the fox in hand, and yeah, like he knows he has the Peter Pan, so he has a couple rush things that now James can, our green yellow player, can kind of be aware of.
So I think I would have probably inked the go-go there because again, I don't know what James is playing. So playing the Ursula out lets me see what's going on and to know if there is a Rapunzel. Just because, that lets me know if I can trade safely or can start putting damage on some characters.
Is that two? Wait, Go Go. Oh, Go Go is only a two. Okay.
Yep.
For some reason I was thinking he was three, and then he paid like one or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't think the Go Go is the right play there. I do agree that maybe you do throw out the because he had the Ursula.
Yep. He inked the Ursula in favor of the go-go. Again, I just think that's huge to keep the Diablo safe. Again, if you're playing something like that. Um, but
Ooh, he's gonna give the
and
bird
then
reckless with Lewis.
yep. Interesting.
And see, what did he end up drawing there? The bird again?
Yep. This is
Yep,
a
a
tough
small bird.
decision for. It's like hard with the Lewis right there. Is again, James doesn't have a lot of evasive answers, so the Lewis is just such. He basically acts as that, right?
Yeah,
Run a Diablo into a crocodile. So
and you almost have to like so you don't have you don't have a song to sing, so Diablo is basically dying here unless you come out with a new plan. He does have the Peter Pan. He could throw Go-Go and Peter Pan into the Luis. Unfortunately, that is still a massive loss, but at least then he keeps his draw engine going.
yeah, I think it's a. I mean, it's probably Ink the Bird, and then I would probably try to maybe send. I mean, Quest with the Go-Go, and then maybe Fox it. Or you're trying not to lose Diablo because again, your hand is pretty rough right now, especially with
Yeah.
the Yagos. So getting Lewis off the board would be huge.
Yeah, I think like you have to play the Peter Pan into it. I don't want to lose Diablo looking at that hand right now.
Yeah,
Oh, he's gonna bounce it instead. Okay. It does that technically protects the Diablo. So, and then
doesn't
he's
it
gonna
keeps
run into Lee's. Do you feel like that's a better trade, just losing the bird though? I still feel like
no. Go ahead.
no. I still feel like that was the. I don't think that was a smart play, but I don't think it was the correct play.
Yeah, I think again, since you're going to 4 ink, right? I think that playing I think questing with Go-Go, bouncing the Go-Go back with the Fox. Fox trades up. Diablo's still on board. It just makes it such more of a pain now, where now you've basically put an uninkable back in your hand that costs 3,
Yeah.
and is just sitting there, right? So I think leaving the bird live was probably the best option there. Leaving the Peter Pan out, but now this would be a decent turn to play Peter Pan. If you didn't see Fox there.
Yeah, and real quick, we had a Rapunzel heal getting to draw 2 extra cards. So this is where we're gonna kind of see like I feel like this deck is very, very teched into a more mid-range battle because you are able just to throw off bad trades so well by just giving things reckless that you don't want to. Like,
Well, that goes back to our hand knowledge though on turn 2, right? If you knew you played the Ursula before you attacked with the Diablo, then you would have known that there was a Rapunzel there. So then maybe you don't take that trade. Maybe you just quest, right?
yeah,
So little things like that, right? But Peter Pan down now, it looks like. Uh,
I
hmm.
I would have probably like so here I probably would have dropped the Fox again and gone in to take out like the John and then kind of had a little bit easier of a trade and then like just kept the bird in hand in case I needed to ink it. The far left card right now was what again?
That's a go-go.
Okay. Yeah, that Go-Go I don't value that highly right now. So like maybe putting that back into your hand would have been better after questing with it and then playing down the Fox.
Yeah, for example, if you played Fox on 3, right? Now you have a threat of a go-go, especially if they do play Rapunzels, because now you can Fox into the Rapunzel to get 4 lore, or some combination of those things, right? Um, just a little bit of a threat, and it's inkable, so which is also really nice.
Yeah. The James's hyena throwing down another Louis. I think he targeted the Peter Pan, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Wrong lever here is huge.
Does allow
Oh
another
yeah, wrong
shift
lever.
line if you need it, but do you do you discard it or do you just like I think you hard play it here. I don't know if I'd want to discard it right now. I kind of want the removal options looking at how he's controlling the board so well.
Yeah, I would think that. I mean, if it was me, I'd probably play the big bird out there if I can, just because I think a 4/6 right now on that board is just absolutely massive.
Yeah.
Not really an easy or clean way to trade with it. Um,
It does kill Louis without having to sacrifice anybody, so I think that's what he's doing.
yep. Big bird is he's a lifesaver
Yeah.
in anything that isn't steel.
4/6 body with rush because of the Peter
hmm
Pan, just insane value.
Yeah, and then I think the consideration here is like, I think you just send them all on a quest, man. Let them go. Let
Do
them
you do
go.
you, at this point though too? Do you hold on to the lever? Like I feel like the control aspects aren't as much. Like maybe I would have wanted the card draw.
Yeah, so are you talking about the pull the lever, the draw two?
Yeah, I was thinking about like just maybe discarding it to shift the Diablo line again because he just got
Oh, the wrong
out of the
lever.
Louis.
Yeah, sometimes though, again, purple doesn't outside of Elsa, we don't really have a clean way to deal with wet characters or whatever they called it, ready characters. And for example, having and holding on to it right now, right, gives you whatever threat might come out, for example, like just now like a Lyle or a 1/5 or something that's pretty massive or really big that we just don't have a clean way to get through.
Yeah,
Can be a nice way to deal with. Clarabelle's another example off the top of my head, like that's a hard character for us to get.
yeah.
And Lever just says, bottom of the deck, please.
Now targeting the bird is a little interesting to me because like you're like, well, why let him just trade into something that's gonna get a card draw out of it? I guess maybe because you don't want it. I guess targeting the bird because he's not going to do any damage, and you have to kill it eventually.
Mhm.
Um, and he does know that he has the Diablo in hand, so maybe he is worried. I'm like, well, if you're going to shift it, it's going to at least be reckless.
This is one of the cooler things you can do with Peter Pan plus Diablo. If you do play the Diablo now, it is a 2/2 rush.
Yeah,
So it does get him back into card draw mode, right, without discarding an action. Especially with these one health characters, it can be nice to, get some good value out of them.
that is true. Like being able to just drop Diablo right now and have it run into something just so it can turn sideways for next turn is definitely more valuable. But he is going to put back who's he target? Yeah, the Lyle. Smart.
Mhm.
Keep his lore intact. And then I forgot that the lever goes to the bottom of the deck too.
Yep, it does. Just in case you get to that bottom deck scenario, So that's interesting to lever there. Because the board is as far, you got the bonsai, the Rapunzel, and the Ursula. You can clean up the entire board, especially with just the Diablo out. You can hold on to that wrong lever for a different, maybe more problematic character. But again, I don't think that was a wrong decision at all either, just to put Lyle down to save your lore. You
Yeah.
also don't have a ton of lore to begin with, so it's not the end of the world, right? Like to lose 3 lore here.
Right, right,
So
right. And then bird has to crash, unfortunately. It's gonna get a card draw. Seeing the crab immediately after kind of feels bad.
it really does.
But honestly, like, I think Chris is in a pretty decent spot. Like, he started a little shaky, but I think he recovered it really well. Despite of some
Yep.
plays that were questionable, quote unquote, I think that he's definitely gone into a little bit better of a spot. I don't see what card that is.
I think that was the Ka. You
That
paid
is a
4
Ka.
for
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
My heart sank a little bit when I saw the 7 ink because I was like, here comes Big Clara because that's how it always
Clarabelle is going to be a little bit of a game changer when if it gets dropped because at
for
that point you
sure.
don't have too many outs to it, especially that you just lost the lever.
I think that's like the advantage of some of these decks, like James is playing, where you don't really have full knowledge of everything they're playing, right? So you don't know what to lever and what not to. So like, you're just kind of dealing with it by the seat of your pants. So,
Right. Surprise card. So like this is where I kind of like rogue decks a lot. Like the advantage is your opponent has no idea what you're doing. So if you build a competent rogue deck, like I've said it before, I took Blurple to set champs and got second place. Like people
mhm.
had no idea what I was doing. They didn't know what the threats were. They had no idea what the threats were incoming. Like I think that and several times, anytime I brought out Blurple when it wasn't a meta call, people were just shocked of like, I don't know how to deal with this. Other than you and like Trip and like a few other people who play tested with me, nobody knew what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to get our butts kicked every once in a while, you know. So
Uh,
interesting to bounce the Iago back and then basically have a bunch of uninkables, right? So again, our goal usually with green purple is once you get about 7, 8 ink, you kind of want to just cool off a little bit. Like you don't really want to keep inking past that because you don't really need much more than that. So I would have been I can understand holding on to the Iago here though to play it out next turn.
and is causing Peter Pan to be reckless. Oh, that was I'm sorry, Madam and Fox to be reckless. It's smart that he didn't. I want to like call out James. He didn't turn the Ursula sideways. He's like, look, I'm not gonna give you a free kill on the Ursula. If you want to trade the Fox for the Ka, I already got my 2 lore out of it. And actually, it's not even a trade. This is actually so Ka -2 attack. It's not a clean trade. It's a 2/3 Fox right now because of that.
Yeah, that is not what you want out of your Madam and Foxes, but
He got the
there
bird.
goes the call.
Yeah, and drawing into
Ooh.
the Ursula. Let's see if that's gonna end up being
Yeah.
relevant here with the shift line.
Also, shout out to James, or yeah, no, sorry, Chris as well. Didn't quest with the Fox there. Did Fox have Reckless? Yes.
The Fox did have reckless.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I was gonna say, good thing he didn't quest with her because you know how that goes. 4 damage onto the Tramp. Play Rapunzel. Draw 3 cards. Next thing you know, it's swung back into James's favor. Right.
The Baymax coming in. So with
That's.
Baymax here, I don't think this. I may have gotten the wrong list. I don't remember him. He may not have sent me the right list. Because
I
Baymax
don't
was
think
that. I don't think in there. I would think we would have talked about it. But he is
there's no
dropping the Ursula.
Baymax. There's no Baymax. There's also no Bonsai. Which, by the way, Bonsai is my #1 card of all time. Cannot wait to play him
I
after post rotation.
yeah. You have. I don't like your bonsais. I will say that. It has been a problem card for me for quite a bit against you.
Mm. Oh
So
yes,
we're on a.
all the good old days.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So for people who want to know how good of a teacher I am, Mr. Noah over here took my first place set championship away. I mean, he knocked me out round 1. But if it wasn't for Noah, I would have gone undefeated, and he wins an Ursula over me.
Mm. Well, at the time though, I was the person playing Ursula, so I do have to,
I
shout that out. That I was playing Big Ursula when she wasn't cool.
I did manage to get two other Ursulas, so I'm not too mad. But yeah, like it was I was a little annoyed at that time. But no, I was very proud, but very annoyed at the same time.
Yes.
But I'm glad, yeah, I was definitely glad that you managed to get that one because you were actively playing it. Like, I was like, you're playing with the prize card. He's like, yeah, I'm going to play with the prize card.
So beautiful. It's a
Yeah.
great card there.
Drawing into another Ursula, though, like, this is. I don't. Again, I don't like that Ursula. Like even here, like if you quest with her, you're gonna gain 2 lore, and you're at a decent advantage. You're not able to steal away too much of their like lore at the moment. And seeing green purple, they're not playing that many actions. I feel like so it's probably just gonna be a quest for 2 and then die to the Yago. uh, Chris has done a great job, like just being able to make good trades with the Peter Pans out and keep like bouncing the Iago back and forth. He's done a very good job, I feel like, with this.
And that's that key mark about 7 ink. When you have the Peter Pan down, you can Iago bounce with Fox, and you can play him out again, and it's crazy value, right? So just being able to put a 4/6 down with Rush on top of a Fox it can be game changing. So, but yeah, it looks like James is probably just trying to go sideways here, go a little fast. Trying to seize that the end is in near here. So
Yeah, I mean, he just dropped the Clarabelle, so you do the Clarabelle. The middle card was which one again? It was a Ka?
yeah, no, that's inkable. That's the Tramp, I believe.
Oh, okay,
The two
so
six.
if it dies, so that's kind of nice. He's gonna have some card draw off of this too. So hopefully he'll be able to find answers. But yeah, I mean, sitting at 13, all your dudes are questing for only 1, so like the race is definitely on. It's gonna cut it close by a lot. Because you can just, yeah, next turn you just hold and not kind of quest if you because you have the other Ursula in hand and then you just quest for 6 for game.
Yeah, it's tough too because you have to trade now, right? If you're James, because you can't risk them going up to 19 and then basically playing a bunch of upright characters. So
Yeah.
kind of have to trade.
I mean, yeah, you're 100% running into this because there's just no other option. Now, James knows that there's the go-go in hand because of that Ursula too.
Yeah.
So like the quest and like that is probably like one of the best advantages. The hand knowledge is there. Like you know he has go-go.
That is tough too, and again, it brings back the point of like you don't want to risk questing with Clarabelle, right? Because you can put in easily 5 damage on her with a crab or with some combination of threes and twos. So I think it's interesting what James will do here, especially with like showing us his hand. He's got bonsais. He's also got a Lyle in there. So and I think as Chris, you can't be too worried about losing lore here. You kind of just have to control the board the best you can.
He's got plenty of ink to do too. So like I think you throw it on Bonsai and like Ursula and pass, like just to make sure like maybe you have a song or something that I don't know about, but inking the Ursula, um, just to kind of like I would have wanted to see what he drew just in case that like maybe he has I don't know like Mother Knows Best or something like that. So they're like but Gogo, Iago, and Fox sitting there. He plays the I can't tell what he just played.
Bonsai also played, I believe, the Ursula.
Okay. And then so no, he played a Lyle looks like so he's turning the bird.
Oh, he did give it play out the Lyle. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then ooh, questing for
Hmm.
17. He and again, I want to reiterate, he saw the go-go in hand.
Oh boy.
So
And
like
he just drew a cove. Oh my goodness. We can cove bird, make it 5 on Clarabelle. No, we don't have nothing for that. But the hype. We can put 4 damage on Clarabelle. Oh my goodness. This is a nail biter.
he's at 11. So 11. So right now he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lore on board. So that's 16. So if he can put, I mean, you need to put 4 damage, but also not lose anything. Which they have the tramp, so he's planning it out right now. Like there is the answer. There is an answer here.
It's interesting though, because one of them does have reckless. So whatever it is, we got to figure out that first
I'm
and
pretty
then
sure it's a
go from
Diablo
there.
that has the reckless.
Okay. So no, it's not too bad.
And he is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And that goes back to what I was saying. That 7 ink is just so crucial, especially with like Fox, Go-Go, Bounce, any of that stuff, right? All that, the threshold is usually 4. And so it's coming back in here to, goes back to like the inking decisions, right? Getting up to that 7, 8 ink. Man, what do we do here? Let's see.
He's
He's
trying to
lying that
solve it. He
Go-Go.
sees it. He sees it, but he's like,
Sees
how
the
do I
way.
solve this? He put his 4 ink to the side. He knows he has the go-go. He's just trying to figure it out.
How to do it. There we go. Yep,
Put the crab
love
out.
it.
Oh, he's putting 7 damage onto the doggo. Get
What? Oh, he's gonna do it.
ink. Pay
Oh
2.
my goodness.
Put the
Let's go.
go-go on gain 7.
Yes,
Quested
I
out
love
for
that.
game.
Wow,
Come back.
man,
Damn.
that is crazy.
I love it. I love it. And
Nice
like
job.
it so this is again like James kind of seeing the hand but not really putting the two and two together at that point or maybe just thinking, "Oh, I can quest." This is where I feel like a lot of players is like sometimes you just need to hold the line. Like if you know you can quest big, especially for a color like green purple who does not have direct removal, it's yeah, I think it just if you just held, he had the game there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that is the beautiful balance of Lorcan. It's when to quest and when not to quest, right? And again, I think he had lethal on board that next turn anyways, right? So it's, make him have Elsa or Big Ursula or whatever, right?
Just something to turn
Um,
my guy sideways, right? And then if
but man,
not,
that is
you it doesn't mean like you can probably quest to 19 or something, but then make trades that you need to make too. Like I mean, he had a couple like evasive characters, but yeah,
I mean, go going for 7 is honestly that is one of the highest amounts I've ever seen in a game. So shout out to Chris for making all of us green purple players just smile ear to ear to see a go for 7. James's deck was honestly awesome. So I'm gonna have to talk to him about that and if there'd be any changes he'd make to it.
yeah, and I think it was either you or Trip. and you go-go'd my Mufasa on Blurple to like 8. So, but
That was
7.
definitely me. So
Okay. So, yeah, like go-go is insane. You have to respect it. Again, hand knowledge was so key right there. He did see it with the Ursula turn. Unfortunately, just maybe I don't know if it was just like, oh well, like how do you get me to? You don't have that much ink. I'm curious on what James's thoughts were for that one.
yeah,
And
I also go back to just talking about Chris's list, right? He only has two Go-Go's in there. And in this is situation, right? If you go to 8 ink, you can double Go-Go, right? And you don't even have to blink twice.
yeah,
So I think like having another that Go-Go threat, especially when you're questing for so little, like you're only two questers Genie. So when you just need a little bit and you also have the Crickies in there too. But having that extra threat with the Go-Go, just having another one in there, inking the first one doesn't feel as bad. So in this case, I know he drew. I think he drew two of them, both of them. But
he
it's
did.
like
Yeah.
just having one more is just so huge. So
Yeah, I really like that this was a decent showcase of like how quickly the game can turn. Like I know a lot of people don't. I've seen lists without like green lists without go-go, and I'm guilty of it myself. Where I like when I was trying out my own build with green purple, I didn't really respect the go-go. Like I knew it was good and I knew it could be a blowout, but it wasn't what I was shooting for. And it's games like this that really make me see like, wow, this card is just way too valuable. You cannot skip it.
yeah, and I think that sometimes people get a little bit too, their eyes get too big with the go-go, and they're like, we have to find the maximum 6 or 7. It's like, no, hitting a go-go for 4 or 3 is sometimes just all you need, right?
Right.
Especially going into like a red-blue matchup where sometimes you have a crab and there's a C2 on board and getting 3 lore is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, James bringing out the Ka there was awesome. It was great to see, and it just gets the wheels turning inside the brain for next set, right? Like, how can we make this thing even better? So.
Yeah, this reckless deck, I mean, like, it was that one. It felt like he was in full control this entire game, realistically. And this is, as a like, I want to build rogue deck players. I gotta give James credit because this is his own creation. This is his own homebrew, and he built it peak. I've seen his new build too, and it is pretty sweet. It is a list I am excited to kind of try out myself. Like it just seems fun. It's unique. It's a cool control deck for colors that are not normally control, and I feel like there's a couple ways I want to improve it, and I getting to see the hype for like Ka was really nice.
Yeah, a little nervous to see him on if he does come on Saturday because I'm assuming he'll be playing this. So sitting here, it was a little was making me squirm a little bit, but definitely an awesome deck.
Yeah, he was on a different deck this week too. Like I said, he does
Yeah,
not play more a deck more than a week in a row. Like he's
yeah, that was awesome.
I don't know how he prepares for set champs, but yeah, if he brings this, I am kind of scared a little bit too. It's so cool. It's a very unique list. Massive props to James. And great gameplay by Chris. I know he's kind of in the
Yes,
learning curve. We actually need to promote him because after recording this game, he made his first top 8 in his first set champs over
that's
at
right.
TriStar. So
That's right. Congrats, James. Or sorry,
congratulations, or
Chris.
Chris. Yes, congratulations to Chris, getting his
That's right.
first top 8. Noah's gonna help provide him with some lines and advice. I know that, like, and this goes out to anybody here in Nashville. If you guys are watching it, like, we are a very, very helpful community. We
Mm.
want the game to grow. We want the community to grow. Like, if you are around tabletops, hobbies, and games in Nashville, our league nights are on Wednesdays. We would be more than happy to have you guys join us. Seating is always limited, obviously, but we're a very welcoming community. We'd love to see this grow.
Yeah, for sure. And even if you're not, right, like just, getting a comment down there talking about, what you saw and what you're doing, it's like we said, we like to play all sorts of decks. And I think that's the best part about our group and community is that just we're down for anything. It doesn't have to be hyper competitive, but we always will sweat when it comes to champ time. So
All right, and with that said, I think that is going to wrap up our episode today. So if you like this content, please like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, and we will have to catch y'all next time.